surround sound. Let's go. Got the contract. Now go. Get ready to turn right. Turn right.
The problem is
I'm reaching out to your purpose. Do what you can. You can go into that website and donate one.
not that game reviewers are held to a higher standard. The problem is that game reviewers have different standards than customers have. And I think that's where the really big issue is that game developers, or sorry, game journalists review games on criteria that actual players don't care about and vice versa. They don't review based on things that players do care about. And so there's like a massive misrepresentation that happens.
Guy's opinion, man. And they certainly are not objective and do not
Dissonance is
strive to
huge.
be and
Yeah.
shouldn't be, because they are opinion based. They are not reporting, they're just, oh, fucking guy has an opinion. And to be clear, before somebody gets upset with me, not being sexist here, women can also be some fucking guy. Like I said, I used to be some fucking guy. Gender neutral. It's really just that the guy who does it for IGN has an editorial policy that he has to abide by, probably has more writing experience than the average person, and more people will read it. But that is really the only difference. No one's opinion on a video game is any more or less valid than anybody else's. The only exception to that, and like I feel that way about films and stuff too, the only exception to that is when in my
I'm doing
opinion,
your
someone who
review.
has a ton of expertise is the
Yeah.
one reviewing something. Tarantino, not just some fucking guy. Miyazaki, Hideo Kojima, not just some fucking guy. They go beyond the sphere of some fucking guy in which all of the rest of us exist. But otherwise, 100% of us, IGN, GameSpot, Kinda Funny, you in my comment section, we're all just some fucking guy. It's actually pretty crazy when you think about it. Like, really, the whole world is just run by just a guy.
I think here's the problem. I think Black Myth Wukong is a really good indicator of what this problem is that when IGN gave Black Myth Wukong an 8, and I think it was another studio, another place gave it a 6 out of 10, and the main reason why they were giving it low ratings was because of something that somebody at the studio said or did, that becomes a huge problem when every single game reviewing company has this same criteria. Space Marine 6 out of 10, right? Got 2. Below Gollum? Yeah, exactly. She's ignoring the innate bias that Texas journalists have. This is a longer video, so like, I mean, she might cover that later on. So, I mean, there's plenty of time to go over that. But what I'm saying is that these game reviews, not only are they biased, but they are extremely biased. And right? A lot of like unskilled jobs. Like, yeah, there is job growth, but it's in jobs that are highly technical or jobs that are extremely demanding, like construction.
Not looking for work, cited insufficient pay as a reason preventing them from work. And nearly
Yeah, of
half
course.
said competitive pay, salary, compensation, and or bonuses was a very important factor when considering whether to enter or return to the workforce.
Yeah, because a man in our society, if you don't make a lot of money, you're considered to be a loser. That's one of the biggest indicators of success in our culture is money.
For the young, better training, skills training, some form of post-high school education, encouraging that, maybe even subsidizing that. I think part of the youth mental health crisis has to do with what's next, what's AI going to do, what am I going to do, are there any stable jobs, I can't afford college, all those questions all come together, and so models that help them kind of give them a jump start can be really effective ways of intervening. And there are actually now really promising programs in high schools which teach kids financial literacy. They teach them about equitable entrepreneurship. They teach them about how you foster better mental health as part of the workplace. And it seems to inspire kids to go on to college, right? Because they sort of see a pathway where they didn't see it before.
29.
I do want to say that the problem that I'm talking about, where it's like dumb people that won't be able to find employment because there are no jobs, this is an unsolvable problem. You're not going to be able to educate this out of them. Like, it's just not.
What's up?
Hi, Jira. We brought you here today to let you know.
So, but like, there are a lot of people that are not part of that are still affected by this, and it does help them.
Percent of men out of the labor force said that training and educational programs was another important factor in considering a return to the workforce.
Having the type of commitment from the employer to train and retain and offer upward mobility for workers, I think would be very important.
I think that upward mobility and the lack thereof is a really big factor. And I think that now that the internet has given people an extra level of awareness, I think that you see now how much nepotism and how much unfairness there is in the workforce and in life. So when you see how this happens all the time, it serves as a massive, massive, massive demotivator. Now, obviously, you still have to do that. You clearly have to, and you can succeed despite that. But seeing people succeed when they don't deserve it is very demotivating for a lot of average guys. Yeah, like it really is awful, me being a personal victim to it. Yeah, I mean, and I think that it happens to everybody, and it's not even just like, there's also okay, like I've seen plenty of memes, and it's like, okay, you're at a construction, it's a construction work site, and it's like it shows like all the different guys that are working there. It's like the old guy that's like working, he's doing his best, the young guy who's like kind of stupid, and then it shows like, it's like the foreman's son, and he's like this. Like I get it, right? I definitely get it. And so like you see that happen, and then guess what? Yeah, in the car, right? Yeah, he's sitting in the car. That's obviously extremely demotivating. And so as a guy, when you see that happen and you feel like you don't have these advantages for yourself, then what the fuck are you gonna do? And it's a massive demotivator. And I'm not saying like, because obviously like you have to keep working even though that's true. Like it's not an excuse to just stop working, but for a lot of people it's a pretty big reason. That's how postal service works, working from mom and dad. I think that there's a lot of things like this.
Figure out more about career pathways in the labor market and not just the education side. So how is it that someone moves from first job, next job, best job? How
Exactly.
do we help people understand and navigate?
Yeah, it's like if there's no light at the end of the tunnel, don't be surprised if people don't want to get in the tunnel. Fucking obvious.
A quarter of working Americans said they weren't satisfied with their growth opportunities in the workplace.
Yeah. I'm surprised
Compared to
it's
other
not more.
OECD countries that on average spend 0.1% of their GDP on training their workers. The US spent only 0.03% of their GDP on job training in 2022.
Older age groups, it's tougher. to retrain, but you can
Yeah.
there are a lot of programs that have largely been pioneered in the UK, much more than here, but we're starting to pick up on them that literally just try and reboot community activities.
This is something that was very popular in like the 40s with FDR. He did this a lot, and it was like generally, even now, like it's looked back on as a positive, right? It is. And somebody said, let me see if I can read this real quick. I don't know where it was, but yeah, somebody said basically if you think other people's success is your failure, then you deserve to fail. That's not true. Like if you have one promotion that's at your office, and the person that gets it for a reason they shouldn't have gotten it for. There is absolutely a zero-sum environment that you operate in. To say otherwise is so disingenuous. Absolutely, it is a zero-sum environment. With a lot, there is scarcity of everything. And if somebody gets something, in a lot of cases, it means you're not getting it. That's just how it is.
get these isolated people in despair out of their houses, it can
Yeah.
make a difference.
Social programs like disability benefits spark contentious debate.
It's very controversial. People have very strong opinions. about this. While we don't know why it is happening, we can be pretty clear that the social welfare programs are helping and the disability programs.
It's a cultural issue too. I think a lot of it for men is a cultural issue. Where like there's always discussions around toxic masculinity, all the things that men are doing wrong. It's popular in media to have men look like idiots in sitcoms. There are advantages and programs that are existent for the benefit of women, but not for men. There are a lot of things, like, especially if you're a young guy, you feel like the odds are stacked against you. And I think that's true. Like, there's a lot of massive disadvantages that men have. Being a man's very hard. I mean, I've said before, I'm so glad I'm a guy and not a girl, right? Like, I am so glad. I would not want to be a girl, right? Because I think it's worse. But as a young guy, especially, like, I'm 34 now, right? So, like, I'm not in that part of my life anymore. But as a guy who's 20, think about the opportunities that women have when they're 20, and think about the opportunities that men have when they're 20. They're very different. And for a lot of you guys, how many of you guys are like around my age, and you've seen that pendulum swing, right? Where like there are those women that you knew in high school, maybe, or college, that, you know, were getting all of these advantages and benefits, and now they're not anymore. And there's men now that are doing very well. Yeah, exactly. I've seen it. I see it, right? And like the thing is that, like, but a young man, a 20 and 19-year-old guy, isn't going to see that. He's not going to see that because he had, like, he's not 40 yet. He's not 35. He's not 30 yet. So that's the problem.
Turn
Late game
left.
blow up, there it is. Yeah, men have really good late game scaling.
Helping to finance this situation in a way that was never originally intended.
A 2018 analysis by the Joint Economic Committee found that 64% of prime-age men who aren't working were receiving some sort of government assistance.
So the one benefit that they rely heavily on is disability insurance. One, because they often are unable to work if they have a physical injury or high levels of addiction or whatever. But it also provides health insurance, which is huge.
Very much against the initial intentions of the founders of the program. They've ended up with a perverse situation that too often subsidizes or even incentivizes helplessness and long-term dependence. If we thought
It's inevitable. I don't think that there's any way around having some sort of universal basic income. I feel like it is inevitable. We either have to have that or we have to kill a bunch of people.
Keep left.
Like most people, basically. If we can't afford it, well, then you have to kill them. Because, like, if you don't kill them, then they'll kill you. Because they don't have any money, they have nothing to lose. That's just what's going to happen. Well, no, I'm just saying, like, that's what's going to happen. Like, you can't have a massive underclass of people that has no purchasing power, that effectively is a slave class. This is a recipe for disaster. Like, it is. Like, it's not going to work. Isn't that scary? I'm just saying, like, that's what's going to happen. Causes civil unrest. Think about how it was in 2020 with all those riots.
About a system in which we had a work-first principle where the incentives were for getting the training.
French Revolution felt French Revolution was against the royalty versus aristocracy. It was not the French Revolution was not the poor people going and killing the rich people. It was the rich people killing the royalty.
And showing up in the job and staying in the job, I think we'd be in a lot better place than we are today.
However,
using
some
the poor to
experts
fight.
remain
Yeah, exactly.
doubtful about whether altering the benefits program will lead to meaningful results.
I think until we deal with the deeper problem of ill health, ill mental health, these guys aren't going to respond to incentives.
Everybody is responsible for their bodies. Everybody's responsible for their neighbors and their friends.
No, they're not.
And we ourselves
It's
as
just not gonna
citizens can help to shine the spotlight on this. It shouldn't be America's invisible problem. And the more that we talk about it, the more that we pay attention to it, the closer we get to turning this around.
I'm going to be honest. This is going to be very, very toxic masculine. I think that we indulge people's mental health too much. I think that we listen to how people feel too much. Suck it the fuck up and deal with it. Be a fucking man. Stop being a bitch. I don't know when the idea of being stoic and working hard and being able to control yourself and rise above your emotions was seen as a bad thing, but enabling that type of behavior just creates losers.
So this is how I like to think about coding. coding is writing, but it's not just math and numbers.
That's it. Yep, losers lose. That's right. Sound like me? Yep. Life difficulty too high, need easy mode? I guess so, yeah. And I think also, like, if you hold people to like low standards, you're gonna have them meet those standards. This was a good video. I think that the problem is that any sort of mainstream publication that talks about this topic always has to talk around the topic. They're always talking around the topic, and they're not understanding and really digging deep into like the cultural problems that men face and how those cultural problems contrive the way a male sees the world. Because it's massive, right? It's like if you're a guy, you're going on dating apps and like you can't get a girlfriend, you can't get a job, you feel like life is against you. It sucks. Yeah, it's absolutely bad. And so the problem also is like media, I think, does a very bad job at presenting positive male role models, because there's a lot of issues where it's like, what is being a man? What is being masculine? Nobody fucking knows. That's the problem. The way that I look at everything is that I try to see everything, and every bad thing that happens to me, I view it as being my fault. Like that is the way I start my investigation into a problem. I think, how did I cause this to happen? Because that takes the locus of control and it puts it on your side of the court. That gives you the agency. Now you have control. You see what I'm saying? And I think also there are times that you can work backwards from that and come to the conclusion that it actually wasn't your fault and you didn't do anything wrong. But that's not the good way to start. And I think that nowadays a lot of self-help is about teaching people different pleasant versions of learned helplessness. It's everything is okay, you know, oh, well, you know, like the world is against you, so that's why you're failing. Oh, well, men have it harder, that's why you're failing. And there's always some sort of external force that's holding you down. I think this is what happens with identity politics too. It's like, well, you know, the reason why you can't get a job is because they're giving all your jobs to women and trans people. Like, yeah, I'm sure that happens sometimes, but there's plenty of people that look like you that have a job too, so why aren't you one of them, right? And so a lot of times the problem is that a lot of these lies are based, what? What do you mean, what? It's absolutely true. What are we talking about? Like, I mean, listen. I like just talking about things directly. I don't like talking around them. I don't like using euphemisms. I don't like using pleasantries. I try to just speak fucking plain English, right? And in plain English, that's what it fucking is. That's the way people think. And so, yeah, no beating around the bush. Exactly. Do you understand the South African situation? Your brain would explode? I do not want to understand that. Fuck that. Working class have been disenfranchised from work. Well, the reason why the working class have been disenfranchised from work is because they're not getting paid for it. Like, if you look at productivity and what a person has to do now versus what they had to do 30 years ago, you have to do way more work and you're getting paid less money. Why the fuck would you want to do that? It's not even a question. I'll be right back.
I should be studying at Al Azhar University, but it got bombed.
Responding to checking messages Saturday night. It saddens me to come to this after months of reassuring me that it was all RP. Wow, that's crazy. Has anybody got Nick's take on this situation? Like, they're spawn camping themselves. It's like you spawn in Halo, the first thing you do is look at the ground and you throw a grenade. There he is. First thing you do.
Welcome back. Today we're breaking down Galaxy Gas. Who's behind
boy.
it? Is it bad? Is it really just for food? And am I in my old man arc? Because
I feel like that's like the only one, right? There are none. So what's the point? So, okay, maybe people didn't read it or understand what happened. So basically, what they're being accused of is that they're using a very specific icon in Japanese history. That this icon right here is a living monument of the damage that whenever we nuclear bombed Japan in World War II. So we dropped a nuclear fucking bomb on them. It like evaporated the entire fucking city in like a massive radius, right? Yeah, well, the United States did. And so, yeah, not really we too. Well, this is the Nagasaki one, but there was the other Hiroshima one, right? But yes, so the U.S. nuclear bombed Japan. And in the process of nuclear bombing Japan, this thing right here was still left standing, and it was halfway destroyed. You see what I'm saying? Look at this. A figurine that destroyed Torii Gate has been released. So what they're doing here is that they're using a symbol that is a remnant of World War II in a game that's supposed to be historical. And they have even touted its historical relevance and the fact that they're using a historical character that happened in the late 1500s. Tectone timeline? No, even Tectone wouldn't have fucked this up because he said it was in the 1800s. This is twice as bad as Tectone. He was off by like 100 years, 200 years. They're off by 300 or 400 years. I'm Korean and this is offensive to me. This is like, you know what it's like? It's like if somebody made yes! This is like if somebody made a fucking video game of New York and the new Spider-Man video game and it shows the Twin Towers. Yes, that's exactly what it would be like. Yes, it would be like, oh wow, it's New York, look at the Twin Towers. They're right there. Oh my God. I am... That would be funny. It would be funny. It would be very funny. It would actually be really, really, really funny. Be historically relevant? I guess so, yeah. 9/11 didn't happen in the Spider-Man universe? Yeah. You're just like... Or on the contrary, you show a video of like 1995 New York, and the Twin Towers are gone. You see what I'm saying? So, well, so this is why it matters. This is why people are talking about it, right? Is that this game came out and a lot of people, it seems very obvious to any person who's not insane that the reason why they're using Yasuki as a character is because it's a black person, right? It was like an African person. And they're doing this for a racial reason. It's obvious. 100% chance, right? This is, and again, like if you look at the studio, half of the people talking about it are like, actually, you look at the fucking picture. You look at the picture of all the people that made the game, they're all white people. So yes, I absolutely think that they would do this. They're, yeah, white women, exactly, right? Who are trying to do something good. And so, actually, there was an ad that has a giant spider web between the Twin Towers catching a helicopter or something. 9/11 happened right after that, and they removed it. Yeah, but that's the thing, though, is like that was before 9/11, so that's the difference. Couldn't have made him literally any other famous samurai. There's a ton of them. So there has been a lot of criticism about Assassin's Creed because people view them as, what's really the word for it? Colonizing, pillaging, co-opting, appropriating Japan's culture and their history in order to push a narrative that is socially consistent with like their like Western worldview. And so this is another point on the graph that is making a very, very straight line that points in a direction that Ubisoft has no fucking idea what they're doing. They have no idea what they're doing. They have no respect for Japanese culture. All they're doing is they're looking for a way that they can virtue signal and show that they care about minorities. And they're doing it at the expense of Japanese culture and at the expense of Japanese history. So when you're using something like this that is a remnant of, like, I mean, a nuclear bomb, this is how bad the nuclear bomb was, right? Is that it evaporated people in a way that their shadows are still there, but their body is evaporated. Like, it's like some fucking, like, Thanos, Marvel, like, Twilight Zone shit. Like, insane insane level of destruction, right? Like, the world had never seen anything like that before, and it probably hasn't seen anything like that since then. And so, yes, nuclear bomb, horrible. And so you're taking something like that, and then you're co-opting a symbol of that, it seems. You're co-opting a symbol of that as a way to sell a product that makes a mockery of the of Japanese culture and Japanese history. Completely disrespects it. As I said, it's like if you made a video game nowadays, the new Spider-Man movie comes out and it's set in New York and the Twin Towers are there. Bomb is deserved. I don't look. It's a war. I'm not talking about like I'm saying that like if you think about it from Japan's POV and all the people that got killed from that, that's horrifying, right? Like horrifying things happen in war all the time. Like Pearl Harbor was the same way. It's not. I'm not talking about like whether it was a good or a bad thing. I'm saying that like just from their perspective, it was horrible. It was really, really bad. So yeah, of course. I mean, it was so bad, it caused the Emperor to fucking end the war. That's crazy.
Let's go melodies, psychedelic.
Yeah, if they fuck up recent history, how reliable is their knowledge of the minute details from their game? Well, it's not reliable at all. It's been everything about it's been wrong. Man, I don't know how this keeps happening. To be honest with you, I really don't know. It's funny how how they made every single wrong move possible. Could this even be something like internal sabotage at this point? I hope that it is. And it's like this is what makes people believe in conspiracy theories. Because it's like there's no way that people can be collectively this stupid and do things this badly. Also in Japanese culture, surrender is dishonor, so for them to give up, that's how bad the nukes were. Oh yeah, no, I mean, because you have to remember, like, Japan didn't give up after the first nuclear bomb. They kept fighting, then they got bombed again, and then they said, okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, that's it. 2. Yeah, exactly, right? We had 3. We just made more until that was it, right? I mean, like, that's what it was going to be. I think that you're underestimating the stupidity of liberal white women. It's not stupidity. It is self-aggrandizement. And what's the word for it? Oh, man. I got to think the word. It's virtue signaling, right? It's egotistical, performative virtue signaling. That's what it is. Yeah, egocentric. Yeah, it's completely egocentric. Totally egocentric in absolutely all ways. Update to this: Ubisoft canceled all press previews of Assassin's Creed worldwide. Wait, what? They canceled all press previews. Now, according to Insider Gaming, Ubisoft has also canceled previews of Assassin's Creed Shadows that were taking place next week. Japanese developer should make a game, because they're French, right? They should make a game about Napoleon and then get everything wrong.
This is where it ends.
Have Napoleon be like a woman. And, you know, it's like, you know, some woman from like Cuba.
Drive safe.
And like have her like, I don't know, fucking like, yeah, like have her be like 6.5 feet tall, right? Like have her be really tall, like taller than everybody. And then, oh man, have them ride elephants. Yes, have them ride elephants. And then instead of have it be a guillotine, change it to, how about the Rack or something like that, like an Iron Maiden. And so just totally change the history completely. Get every single thing wrong. And it's like Napoleon doesn't get sent to an island. He actually just like, he just becomes the new king and then that's it. And then everybody lived happily ever after. That's what they need to do. A Japanese studio needs to do this. Yeah, show them how it feels. But I thought their Japanese fans loved Assassin's Creed Shadows. That's what the Redditors told me. I didn't see people see the "I'm Japanese and I love Assassin's Creed" beep boop comments. That's what's soon gonna get me off this platform. Editors are always so confidently say the weirdest takes when they're completely wrong. Assassin's Creed Shadows is actually amazing. Concord was amazing. All the new Marvel shows and movies are amazing. So the reason why Redditors do that is that, so there's one thing that Redditors don't like, and they don't like people that are smart and authoritative. So a smart, authoritative person, Redditors find ways to try to knock that person down a few pegs because they're retarded and they're insecure about their own life. So what they do is they try to figure out a way, oh no, this is actually, they're wrong, they're bad for whatever reason. That's why it happens. That's it, not in your eyes. Yep, there you go. They're retarded, yes. And so when I see this, I'm not surprised at all. And so you can see this with any person who's authoritative or has any degree of experience in a field. If you go and you read the comments about that person, there's always going to be comments saying that they're wrong. Because Redditors, like Reddit is the peak, like pseudo-intellectual platform. Like people on Twitter are just emotional fucking vampires. People on 4chan are retarded and they know they're retarded. People on Facebook are retarded and they don't know that they're retarded. People on Reddit are retarded and they think they're smart. That's the difference. Fuck, man. They own that shit? Yeah. Holy shit. So this is the new mod.
Start your breakfast the right way with Luzine bread. Whether you're an early bird or you just missed the alarm, Luzine sliced.
Is there anything about State of Play that you're pretty hyped about? I mean, they said they're announcing 20 new games. That's crazy. So yeah, I'm excited about this a lot. Absolutely. 100% I'm excited. Bingo sheet? Yeah, I have the bingo set up. This is bingo for the event. That's my bingo. All right, here we go. We can have Monster Hunter World with this. Turn it up a little bit. bots doing work, man. Good for them. Helldiver. This is actually really good. That's cool. It must be such a relief for Sony to actually have like a brand figure like that, you know? Oh, no. Yeah, like imagine you work in the marketing department at Sony. Bro, like, you are glazing the people that made Astrobot. Thank God. I still need to play this. I do want to try it out myself. 10 new bouts to rescue? Oh, bots. Oh, that's Stellar Blade. The Helldivers. So stupid, yeah. Oh my God.
It was mutual.
Not some of the, I guess those type of people were not there at that time. Glad you're back to making content. Thanks. Thank you. I'm not really. Dan's take. Okay, yeah, I'll read Dan's take. I like Dan. Is this something I can watch on stream? I don't know if this is. Okay, yeah, we can watch it. Yeah, it's just fighting. It's like, it's a Twitch clip. E-Rob sucker punched Darius at TwitchCon after confirming he didn't lie. Oh my god, this is like, this isn't like what I was talking about though. This is just just like streamer drama. This isn't like people intentionally walking around harassing people. Yeah, I don't care about this. This is dumb. I like literally don't care. The kind of idea of the idea of like the TwitchCon harassment though is actually interesting. Because it sort of begets like, what's the appropriate response to comments like that? Just walk away? Yeah, I think so. I mean, like, the thing about fighting is like, okay, I don't know if I'm not ready to have this talk 10 minutes into the stream, but we'll do it anyway. I've been in martial arts all my life. Most people know that. I used to compete. I started when I was 4 years old. Like, really badass people will tell you that like fighting's cool or whatever. My opinion on it is that usually, even if you're really good at fighting, you can cause an injury or be injured in a way, just accidentally. Just stuff kind of goes crazy in street fights a lot of the time, and the vast majority of the time, it's not worth it. Because if you seriously injure somebody or become seriously injured, like you could just trip on, like human beings are kind of fragile. If you trip on something, hit cement or something like that, like you're looking at like you've gone from like, I don't know, like an assault charge to like an attempted murder charge. It's like that bad. So even if you are really, really confident that you can win a fight, you probably shouldn't do it. The only time that you should really fight is if you genuinely feel like your life is in danger. And even then, like we used to have a class that I taught at the school, and it was called Street Awareness. And the Street Awareness class was about how to confront various different situations. One of the situations that you could get into is like if somebody ever pulls a gun on you, don't do some Israeli IDF thing that you watched on YouTube, like where you're like, like Denzel Washington type stuff. Just give them whatever they want, right? Like your wallet and your credit card and all that stuff is just not worth like your life. Like do everything you can to just give them whatever you want. And then leave if you can, or get out. Like your life is the most worthwhile thing. Nothing on you is worth that. So I generally think at those conferences, like if you run into that kind of situation, just like go, like don't like get ego about it. Just like walk to the just walk to like the nearest authority or police or whatever, and it's no problem. That's how I feel about it. What are we doing, guys? What is this? What are you dudes doing in here? Just calm down. This is a business stream. All right. Jesus. Where am I at? Oh yeah. So that's, I guess, yeah. You know what really is like the weird thing about TwitchCon and stuff like that I can't figure out is like what is going on with the like the fact that these guys, like Mizkif is a very wealthy person, and private security is not that, like badass private security, like hard pipe hitting motherfuckers is not that hard to hire. It's like $100 a day per person. I know because I've hired it. So not for myself, I'm not that cool, but for A-list people that we activate as an agent. And it's like, if you want super, super hardcore, like, people, you know, for 200 or 300 bucks a day, which is not even close to, like, what these guys are making, you just have those dudes walk around with you. I remember the Koreans have this figured out. Like, in esports, I remember that Faker had the biggest dude with him I've ever seen. And I didn't talk to Faker at PAX. I didn't. I was like, that guy's huge. There's no way I'm gonna deal with that dude. Like, there's no way. Security isn't content. I don't think that people like, I understand what you're saying, and there might be a little bit of that, but I don't think people like NMP, like Nick, that like legitimately got harassed at TwitchCon were looking for content. I just don't. How do I say this? It's not that they're looking. It's not that they're looking for content. It's just that they're not that smart. I'd say like in a business sense, in like a delegation sense, like this is something that like an agency would think about in like 10 seconds. Like and it's like if I'm running like an A-list celebrity or the equivalent of one, because like these people are not A-list celebrities, but at these conventions they are, right? You just pack a lot of heat behind those people or around those people, and you also use like a lot of conventional. Like a lot of people don't know, like every convention hall is set up with back end areas. Like you can walk through the entire convention and get to different places without ever seeing anybody, because there's backroom hallways. Every stadium has this. Like when we were trying to get players into Madison Square Garden or whatever like that, you would just go through this like little tunnel system. There's always like a back there's like a back alley type of place where they just have like security and metal detector and they can just walk people in. So there's a lot of ways to get around this. And the reason why I dislike TwitchCon more so than any other convention that I go to is because they ignore every single one of these perfectly reasonable things to do in order to like create this feeling, this super parasocial feeling of like the streamers walking around. And so it causes all these problems like this. You don't have this shit happen at like regular conventions because this is all figured out. Like if Kevin Hart wants to go to a convention and give a talk there, they have that entire thing figured out. Like Kevin Hart's not going to walk through the center of the convention hall and have hordes of like followers like running after him. I don't understand why TwitchCon does this. The meet and greets are super controlled. They're getting better, but like super controlled, like to me means like one, 5'11" dude. At like Twitch, yeah, like yes.
Value of their body parts sooner than later as these jobs become less and less possible to do. That's what's happening. They're not coming back. They're not going to be back. The only way that they could come back is if we had some sort of neo-feudalism serfdom. That's it.
And problems that government can't address.
So one of the first functions that beats out policy is economic growth. You have a strong economy, you're going to have increased wage structure that's going to bring people back in.
More than a quarter of prime age men.
I don't think that's true. I think that's not true anymore, at least, because the jobs that are being added into the workforce are very high skill and very technical. It's not like we're having like a lot of infrastructure that needs to be built. don't have any sort of like college degree. They don't have any formal education. There used to be a lot of jobs that you could do that didn't require that. But the fact is that now I feel like a lot of those jobs are being automated, or they are not as important as they were. They're not needed as much. It's like back in the day, you could work at a factory and then, you know, bolt nuts onto a Ford. But you don't need to do that anymore because they have a robot that does that. So it's like, where do those people go? At a certain point, nowhere. What the fuck? You can't automate trades? You can, but it's just that we're so far off, it's not realistic for it to happen. Also, being a plumber or being like a carpenter, like that's really hard work, man. And so a lot of people aren't really gonna wanna do that. Yeah, I mean, I understand that, like, yeah, you can make a good amount of money doing that. Some people do, but yeah, it's hard to do that.
College educated leave the workforce at higher rates than men who are.
Yeah, of course.
At the same time, fewer younger men have been enrolling in college over the past decade.
If you look at the
Well, that's not really a big surprise when you see initiatives that are given the privileged women. Like, I see this all the time, where it's like, well, this is some sort of initiative that's made to get more women to go to college or get more women to be involved with something. Big fucking surprise, you're going to see men that aren't going to be as enrolled in college. It makes sense. Of course. It's an incel take. That's an incel take. It's a fact. It's a fucking fact. Like, how many times do you ever see articles and like initiatives that companies do that are like getting more women involved with X, Y, or Z thing? All the fucking time. All the fucking time. And so, yes, if you're a guy, like, women have these innate advantages that these companies are putting out there. They're putting money up to give them an advantage. So, yes, obviously men are at a disadvantage because if you're competing against somebody that has a head start or some sort of advantage over you, then now it's harder for you to compete. It's very simple. It's more than that. It's not about initiatives. Males outperform males academically. Average is always high school. Sure, I'm saying, like, that's definitely probably a factor, but you're talking about college. I'm not talking about high school. Are they trying to rectify the historical disadvantage? Well, rectifying a historical disadvantage by disadvantaging a different group of people, this is not virtuous. Like, you're not rectifying anything because what happened to somebody 50 years ago isn't what's happening now. Like, if you're applying an unfair standard onto a person because of something that they didn't do, then you're treating them unfairly. It's really simple.
Geography of where the most primary men of the force are in particular, they tend to be in places that have experienced manufacturing declines.
Exactly. Yeah, it's because, yeah, there's no, like, physical, like, labor jobs that are not super intensive that are low skill that men can have because they've been automated.
To graduate with a high school education and have good,
the same thing's going to happen
jobs.
with women
they weren't
too.
Glamorous jobs. They were, automobile factories, sometimes mines, other manufacturing jobs, but they were respected, they were stable, and they could support a family.
That's another really big component that a lot of people might not realize is that people had a manufacturing job where they would just put bumpers on Fords. And this guy made what would be equivalent to the over $100,000 a year. This is a guy, it's like you go back and you watch old sitcoms, and it's the guy that works in a factory, and he owns a house, a boat, a car, and he has a wife and 2 kids, and the wife stays at home. How do you think that happens?
Then, due to technology-driven growth, a little bit due to Chinese competition, you've had a lot of manufacturing firms and the places where they were located, the little one-horse towns, become ghost lands, right?
Yeah, like Detroit.
Wages could also be a contributing factor. Median annual wages for men with a high school diploma have fallen from just over $57,600 in 1973 to $45,000 in 2023.
That is a crazy amount. Like, again, like, you think about that number, like, what is the math on that? Like, almost 20%. Yeah, it's almost about 20%. It's gone, like, think about that. 20%. That's crazy. Huge fucking reduction. It's like if you cut off somebody's leg, that's 20% of their body weight. 20% is massive. Add inflation. I think this is probably adjusted for inflation.
Adjusted for inflation. At the same time, wages for those with a bachelor's degree or more have increased by about $6,300 during the same period. This decline in earnings led to a 44%.
Because nobody needs people with no skills and no education anymore. And this is going to become a bigger problem. Every single year it will become a bigger problem. And eventually, in like 20 or 30 years, I think that we are going to be running into a existential threat that a person will no longer be able to reasonably expect to gain employment. I think it's happening because there are so many things that are becoming automated. It's more than 20%. It's a 20% reduction when it should have been a gain 20%. No, it's adjusted for inflation. This is what's going to happen, right? Because like you think about it, how many of you guys, like I'm 34. How many of you guys remember having your mom take you to the supermarket whenever you were a kid and 15 aisles were open? You guys remember that? You go to Albertsons, you go to Walmart, you go to Costco, go to Sam's Club, Publix, right? H-E-B here in Texas. Now how many lines are open? Like three, like 2 or 3, somewhere around there, right? And so that's what happens. And so where did all of those people go? Well, nowhere. They're gone. Their job's gone. Also, think about like whenever I was a kid and I would go to like McDonald's, there would be more people behind the counter than there are now. And this is happening everywhere. Self-checkout. Well, what I'm saying is that self-checkout is a form of automation. And everything is, it's going to be cost-cutting. Exactly, mobile orders, there's a bunch of stuff. Self-service checkout. And so all of these things are done in order to remove people that are unskilled workers from the workforce. And another reason is that with unskilled workers, most of them, you're going to have a high, listen, I mean, I think Taco Bell uses AI to take your orders now. And the reason why I think that is because they keep getting my order right. This used to never happen. And now I'm always getting the right food? No, something is wrong here. And I think they're using AI. Wendy's too? Yeah, they're all doing it. And this is what's happening. Carl's Jr., yeah. And so, well, where's that person? What's that person gonna do? Now they're gone. So that's where the issue comes in. That's where the problem happens. And you're seeing automation and technology removing unskilled labor jobs from the market at a ratio that is way faster than those jobs. Like, because the difference between, like, sorry, I'm going off on a big tangent here, but like you can compare this abstractly to the Industrial Revolution, right? Because we're having a second revolution. But the Industrial Revolution was done as a means to an end of producing more of a product. So the goal was not necessarily to reduce the amount of workers, it was more or less to increase the amount of product. Whereas automation and, AI, the entire purpose of it is to reduce the workforce. That is the primary goal for something like Flippy. Flippy is done, he exists, so McDonald's doesn't have to hire someone to reduce costs. Yes, exactly. And that's what's happening. And so that's, and I think that men, and it's especially true with physical labor jobs, right? Like manufacturing. These were jobs that low education men would always have. And I think that this is also a reason too. It's like, again, take a step back. This is the reason why you see such a massive resurgence of like red pill stuff. This is why you see people like Andrew Tate, Jordan Peterson, and all of these people that are like trying to provide like a world outlook for men. Because now there's no path that an uneducated man is going to be able to take that's going to help him. Right? Internet dads, yeah, like there's no there's no light at the end of the tunnel. There's no way that things are going to get better for this kind of a person. They're just fucked.
Growth in the exit rate of men without a college degree from the workforce between 1980 and 2019.
I think, honestly, status plays more of a role than wages. As I said before, you had a manufacturing job, it was respected, you were part of a community, breadwinner for your family, you had organizations like unions or Rotary clubs that surrounded your job, and that's gone.
In general, men without children are also less likely to participate in the workforce compared to men with children.
Of course.
Especially men without education or training after high school.
What we have...
Yeah, there's a word for that. Not in education, training, or technology. Not in, yeah. It's interesting.
Seen is a huge rise in the proportion of prime-age men who've never been married, and a very, very significant decline in the proportion who are currently married and have kids at home. And those two trends track closely with the big changes that we've seen about male attachment in the labor force. Correlation isn't always causation, but looking at that
It's obviously a factor. Like, I mean, I know plenty of people that are like, yeah, I don't want to get married or do anything like that because I can't even take care of myself. Like, you're not really in a position, because, like, this is the thing, is that culturally, like, we can all pretend like this isn't the case, but it's been the case for thousands of years because this is the way our biology is that the man is supposed to provide for the woman. That's the way it works. That's how it works in almost every single, animal colony, at least of mammals. This is the way it works for people. This is the way it's worked in pretty much all cultures. And yeah, that's the reason, because women have kids and they're weaker and smaller, and men have to provide for them while they take care of the kids. So if a man can't provide for his wife, then he's not going to be looking for a wife. Or at least there's a lower probability of it. Because, like, we act like, oh yeah, we're beyond this. Oh, we're past this. No, we're not. No, we're not. Biology says that we're not past this. If you look at the entire history of human beings, 99.999% of all of the time that we have been people, that paradigm has been used. It's not going to go away. That's it. You can't escape nature, yes. And so if a man can't provide for a family, then he's not going to try to look for a family. It's that simple. Now, that's not always true, and there's plenty of broke dudes with baby mamas everywhere. However, overall, it will lead to a decline because the conscientious ones will decide not to do it.
Balance is real important, I think.
Meanwhile, 57% of the roughly 10% of men not looking for work said their physical or mental health was the main reason for not being employed, with 55% citing a disability, serious illness, and/or receiving disability benefits.
The whole question about the health and the mental health of male workforce dropouts is an extremely important and I think concerning one.
I think this is, again, like, the reason why you see, like, men's, like those alpha male boot camps that, like, guys had, and, like, they're all crying in the pool. The problem is that men are not really, like, they're not given spaces where they can grow as a person in a way that's healthy. And I think that they look for spaces like that, and they find it on the internet, or they find it with, like, different types of, like, these, like, male, like, fitness influencers, etc. But, like, if you think back at, like, a lot of ancient cultures and the way that, like, even our culture used to be, right? There was a lot more of a traditional, some form of initiation ritual, things like the military, things like some form of civil service, like, the CCC and other types of, like, New Deal things from, like, the 40s. And so there were a lot of other ways that we approached this problem, and now there really aren't any. Yeah, there's coming of age rituals. Yeah, exactly. There aren't any. And how to be a man is a question that apparently nowadays most people can't answer. And I think the problem is that, like, nobody knows that, and the entire popular media is polluted with basically bad role models. It's basically like, and it's not that Andrew Tate is a bad role model with everything. There are a lot of things that Andrew Tate says that I think are true. Same with Jordan Peterson. But the problem is that none of them really are the model character for the person that you want to be. And I think that's all the issue, too, is because if you don't even know what your own identity is, how can you go after it? You see what I'm saying? And so people, like a man has been divorced from their identity. They've been divorced from having ownership over their own body. They've been divorced from being able to have any sort of like a future. And the problem is that you can say, oh, well, just go to college. I'm going to give you guys the honest truth. The bottom 20% of intelligence of people are not going to be able to have jobs because they're too stupid to make decisions. They're just stupid. They're not, like, you can't just put somebody in Harvard and then after 4 years, they're going to become a neuroscientist. There are lots of people that are just stupid, and there's no fixing this, right? Or at least not right now. Yeah, there's no fixing this. Oh, you can't say that? No, it's just how it is. Feet tall. That's the way it is. Some people with a lot of hair, some people without so much. Some people are really black, some people are really white. That's it. And so everything is like that. And, some people are really smart, some people are really stupid. Like, there are so many pieces and, like, ways this comes together. More than 50% of college degrees are worthless as well. Don't forget that men are also more likely to be addicted to drugs and alcohol. Addiction can play a role. Yeah, but why are they getting addicted to drugs and alcohol? I think that they're getting addicted. A lot of people that I think get addicted to substances like that do it as a form of escape. They do it because they're unhappy with their life. Now, you obviously have some people that are just, addictive personalities, just what they do, right? But I don't think it's as common.
Dressing proportion of the men who are out of the workforce, say they're using medications every day.
Jesus
A
Christ.
2017 research paper estimates that an increase in opioid prescription between 1999 to 2015 led to about 43% of the decline in men's labor force participation rate during that period.
So then you have to ask, what sort of...
It's because people aren't active anymore, too. That's another big factor. Like John F. Kennedy had like a lot of initiatives and things like this to like get guys active, especially like high school age guys. And like back in school, like for a lot of people now, they don't have to do PE anymore. And so now you have people like this is again like going back to the, like, it's again return to monkey. Back in the caveman days, men were physically active all of the time. And I bet how many of you guys, whenever you were a kid, you were physically active like 5 hours a day. You were going around, running around, you're out in the backyard, you're going over to your friend's house, you're riding your bike around, you're doing all kinds of crazy shit, right? For like 8 hours a day, right? Yeah, we were all like this. And now you're probably not as much. Well, that's the way that people are supposed to be. And you can see this with like any contacted or any sort of, older tribe. Like you go look tribe, they're running like fucking crazy. They're moving around constantly. None of them are just sitting around doing nothing all day. And so again, it's going back to return to monkey. People have been divorced from the fulfillment of physical activity. You see what I'm talking about here? It's about momentum. Yeah, it's about people moving, right? You're moving your body. You're moving. You're stretching your arms, right? It's like I like that's one of the reasons why, like for me, whenever I was having back trouble, I friends, right? It's like I like that's one of the reasons why, like for me, whenever I was having back trouble, I said I refuse to take painkillers for this. I will not take painkillers for this. I'm going to exercise in these different ways because I think the human body is made to move. It's made to heal itself, and it's made to improve. And that's what I did. Yeah, take up an activity. Yeah, exactly. Fight Club was right. Well, in some ways, right? But like what I'm saying is that that's a huge factor. And I think also like then like being fat or being out of shape, like then this creates a feedback loop of not having confidence because I'm fat, I'm ugly, I'm skinny, I'm ugly, I don't look right. Now I can't really get a girlfriend. Now people don't like me as much, right? And so you see how like all of this has created like a perfect storm for men to completely lose any form of identity they have. That's what I think is happening. And it's actually such an existential spiritual problem, but it manifests in like very physical ways. Like for example, being fat or not being able to have a job or not having a girlfriend. But all of these are symptoms of a spiritual disease. I know this sound like I'm using kind of like big terms here, but I really do think this is what's happening.
Are we talking about physical pain? Are we talking about metaphysical pain? There's there's an enormous amount of depression, mental health challenges that men in this grouping face.
Yeah, but why do they get depression? No, that's the question. Because, like, yeah, being able to acknowledge that it's mental health and depression, great, true, yeah, right? But, like, why?
This is a chicken and egg question.
Yeah.
Did you drop out because you were feeling sad, or are you sad because you dropped out and you're living on the couch?
Unemployment is really terrible for people's well-being. Often people adapt to all kinds
I think a lot of people, it's probably that there isn't a social support network for them either way. There's not a support network for them being in school, and there's also not a support network for them to get back into school or education in another form, right? Like a trade. Men don't have that, sadly. Yeah, and I think that's one of the big issues. And I think that that's why there's like a growing resentment I think a lot of men have towards women, which is women, it seems like, have a lot more like social structures and social like networks that exist for their benefit that men don't really have access to. I think it's a huge problem.
negative shocks, losing a kid, being widowed, whatever, and eventually kind of come back. But long-term unemployment is one of the worst things in terms of that. So what you have is a kind of scarring effect, and it's worse for men because their identity is much more wrapped up in their role as a worker.
Well, of course, the reason why a man's identity is wrapped up as a role as a worker, again, I feel like I'm saying the obvious thing that nobody can acknowledge is true. It's because a man is expected to take care of his family and provide for a family. A woman's not expected to do that in the same way. That's because of biology. You're not going to rewrite this. It's not going to change next week. There's not going to be a law written that makes this better. This is the way that people are hardwired and programmed down to a genetic level. So the reason why men being divorced from the ability to earn a living is an existential spiritual problem is because the ability to earn a living is their ability to reproduce. Fundamentally.
Declining workforce participation can potentially leave a lasting impact on the American economy.
It means slower growth of the economy, obviously. It means bigger wealth gaps within our society.
It certainly will have an impact on our productivity, and probably already is.
The U.S. has been experiencing a severe shortage in labor.
This is going to keep getting worse, by the way.
Missing 1.7 million Americans from the workforce compared to February 2020. The McKinsey Global Institute estimates that U.S. GDP could have been $296 to $442 billion higher in 2023 if the country had been able to fill its job vacancies.
A lot of people just don't want to do
However, some
shitty jobs.
experts suggest the impacts of men leaving or never entering the workforce could be more sector specific.
You need young men
Well, it's
coming.
also people not getting paid enough fucking money, right? Like, if you, like, oh yeah, you want to go work at McDonald's and be called a loser by basically everybody in society and get paid a shit wage and have to do one of the hardest jobs. Like, I'm sorry, but like, streaming is hard in a lot of ways, but I feel like there's almost no fucking job that's harder than working in a kitchen. That's my opinion. Like, I had to work in a kitchen before for a very, very short period of time. I've got my name tag for it right here, and it was absolutely fucking awful. I couldn't imagine living like that regularly. Like, I quit immediately, basically. Oil rig? Well, the thing is, if you're working on an oil rig, you're probably getting paid, you know, $180,000, $250,000 a year, right? So you're getting huge money. So, like, yeah, obviously, like, this is very dangerous. It's scary, but you're getting paid a lot of money. Not really. How much does a rough... So it's looking like the average is $47 a year. And the salary for the top 10 cities is all over $110,000. 47. Oh, sorry, not $47 a year. That's for making Nike. Over in Malaysia, no, $47 an hour.
Place those people going
Sector specific.
You need young men coming in wanting to replace those people going out. And so men.
I think this is another factor, is that now that we have better health services and we have better health in general, boomers are staying in and older Gen X are staying in the workforce longer than people that were before them were staying in the workforce as well, because they maintain health for a longer period of time.
Primarily been in more manual labor or blue skilled and skilled trades. They're older and they're leaving into retirement, and there's not as many young men coming in, both because of declining cohort sizes, but moving in a different direction type of careers. We're going to be losing that sector of productivity.
Despite a steep rise in federal funding, the infrastructure sector hasn't been able to find enough workers, with the construction workforce shortage surpassing 500,000 in 2022.
We are a little concerned about the impact that inflation is going to have and has had on the movement of infrastructure dollars into the actual productive activity. Having a shortage of men in construction is going to raise a problem.
The trend could have a dire socio-political impact as well.
It'll get worse in ways that we would not like. I mean, I think it would lead to more.
Increase the pay. Well, the problem is inflation effectively is doing the opposite. So it's like, there are a lot of guys that work, like, my understanding of construction, which is like kind of disconnected, is that if you're like on the ground, you're probably making okay money, but the foreman is making pretty good money, and the guy that the foreman answers to is making really good money, and the guy above that is like a millionaire. So like construction does have a lot of money in it, but again, the guy that's above the guy that's above the foreman, that guy is like probably a top 10% intelligence person. So like if you're in that bottom 20% and you're kind of stupid, you're never gonna make it up that ladder. It's just not gonna happen. Not all in the top 10, not all, well, I mean, like in general, right? You're going to have people, like there is clearly a correlation between high status jobs and jobs that require, like a lot of thinking and intelligence, right? And IQ. Like that, fucking obvious. Construction's hard on the body though. Not enough young people want to do that to themselves. I think so. I think more people would do it if it paid more. Definitely. Nepotism overrides everything in skill. Look, listen, there's always going to be factors that are out of your control. But if you want to talk about that, you're right. But I'm talking about averages. If you want to look at averages here, those guys that are millionaires or, they're very close to it through construction, these people are not stupid. They are not stupid people. They're not like some dumbass idiot. Like these are people that understand a lot of shit.
Yes, but it will also likely lead to radicalization and polarization, because this is a frustrated left behind with no options.
Yeah.
There are problems that government can address.
They'll never have a solution, and men that are unskilled will become increasingly less worthwhile and important, and we will be entering in a time where a person's value.
Okay. So on the YouTube page, this is my recommendations, right? There's no gaming the system here. So see this, where it's like declutter your mind, the secret to staying mentally sharp at any age. This guy has 122 views, and he has 228K subscribers. This guy has 3 people watching, and if I go through like the content, what you'll see is like this has 2.2K views. Like there are actually a lot of opportunities right now to get served new content on YouTube. The algorithm is preferencing new channels pretty well, and so you'll see a lot of like 400 view stuff and like 300 view stuff and things like that. That's pretty impressive. So I think that YouTube's doing fine in terms of recommending smaller content channels. And if you go into your YouTube, you should be able to see some of that show up. So I'm actually not too worried about the. I'm not too worried about it. I think that, like, yes, like in terms of the leaderboards, the like 400K subscriber channels will beat out like the 5% ones, but it'll still plug into the algorithm with like a better discovery than before. Here's the statement I would make, right? This is like hard to argue with. Being an 100,000 subscriber YouTube channel or being like a 1,000 subscriber YouTube channel will be better after this change than it ever has been before. How much better and like to what degree is like kind of subjective, but it will be better than ever before. It's real neat. Oh, also Twitch friends, we built a system out that warns us in chat when ads are coming. So we should be able to run ads before that happens, which is kind of neat. I've not been in the stream in 5 years. Same, dude. Yes, that's the hype thing. I think we'll talk about it. I think that dude that was talking about it was right, though. That I don't think that there will ever be a situation where like a 500 sub YouTube channel like goes on the leaderboards and beats out like a 500,000. Oh my god. Okay, I'm sorry. That's got to be like priority number 1 to fix those gnomes. Hey, thanks. Good to be back. Okay. Okay. How do I fix this? So is this a all right. Let's test some stuff out, because this is going to be the follow one. By the way, I appreciate all the follows, guys. Thank you so much. Very nice. And all the welcome backs, too. That's great. Let's do... This is follows Streamlabs. Yeah, I apologize. I'm trying to, like, figure out the tech. So this one's going to be... So if I'm right, this is just follows. That's coming up here. That should just appear there. Then on
turn left.
I hope that's right. And we're gonna delete this. Delete this. What made you want to return to streaming on Twitch? I have a video about it. The short of it is that like I just felt like I've had like a really good life and I just kind of have an obligation to like give back and try to talk about cool stuff. Also, I've been kind of frustrated that it just seems like all the content everywhere is dog shit. It's either like really highly politicized or it's like just like really boring, like Reacts content or just like gaming stuff. And I wanted like, I think there's like a need for like a live show that talks about like business and like important stuff that's going on that's not political. So I want to make one. Subscriptions. Okay, so here's the gnome. The gnome is very loud. And then if I copy this URL, this should give us the... Join the All In podcast. I don't deserve to sit with those guys. Like, every one of those guys is like 50 to 100 million net worth plus, and they're so much more informed than me. It's crazy. I'm honored that you think that I could, though, man. So this is going to be where is this? Subscriptions. Okay, why? Why did that pop 60 times? Okay. Just a sec, man. absolutely insane. Okay. So that goes there. Because text-to-speech... Bro, I can't even do... I can't do anything right now. Save changes. Hold on, I need... Only Notepad can save us. Patreon.
Go straight.
Is this a separate link? This is the same fucking link. So that's why it's like doubling up. Oh, because it's filter events. Oh, I see. I messed up everything. That's why we're getting like quintuple gnomed. I see. I gotta do the whole thing again. Okay. Thank you guys so much for bearing with me, but like, I'm sorry. This is just, this is like, we'll never have to do this stuff again after we get this kind of stuff set up, but it's like so frustrating right now. Some people do watch live streams. I'm going to be super honest. I feel like I was so bad on the last live stream. Actually, I'll try to do way better for this one. I'm not used to talking to people. Okay, this will fix this. This will fix this. So, first thing we're going to do... Let's go here. This is just follows. Filter will be literally just follows. Okay. Okay. I just fast forward through the parts that find boring. Yeah, that works. Damn, that's awesome, Zethnos. Thank you. I think I came back. I came in 2 corpos. Corpo is my problem. Maybe less corpo. Less corpo. I'm like, do you know those annoying people? You ever talk to these annoying people in like HR or that work like 9 to 5s, and they've just been in the corporate environment too much, and they talk like, well, you see, in order to reach our KPIs for the next quarter, like we've got to split up the revenue, and we've got to get our teams and product managers on the right, on the right footing. And I was like, damn, I'm like way too much along. Let's circle back and sync on that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I was like, okay, I gotta like stop doing that because I gotta sound like an actual human being. Let's circle back offline and lean in on that solution that benefits both parties. Yeah, exactly. Let's table that. Yeah. Every time I ban someone in the chat, it's like, hey, let's table that. Okay, let's see. All right, so we're gonna do add. Let's table this discussion for another time. Bans the guy. Follows Streamlabs. Hey, nice to see you. What's up, Bristow? Can we hop on a call? I have bled that like poison out of my organization. It's so annoying when somebody is like, oh yeah, like can we jump on a call? Like I really want to talk about that. And I'm like, dude, this is an email at best. Like, why have you never thought about working in the trades? Are you asking me why I've never been a prostitute? Am I super misunderstanding your question? Because you usually don't ask questions like this. What are you asking me? The trades? What does that mean? Hi, Devin. I just bought a house in California. Any tips? Sell it and move. What does he mean by the trades, do you guys think? Where in California? Plumbing and electrician work? Oh, the trades. I see. The trades, yes, that's what the trades mean. Okay. Or Wall Street trades. carpentry, ironwork, or HVAC, I'm not remotely competent enough to do that stuff. Like, stuff like installing like that kind of stuff, like HVAC or like carpentry and stuff like that, requires real actual skills. What I do is I pretend to have skills behind a computer, and then people believe I have them and pay me for it. But there are no actual skills. That's the difference. And because I'm pretending, I can make up my prices, so I make a lot of money. But yeah, like you put me, like I was trying to figure out how to work a magnet the other day, and I couldn't figure it out. Okay, so this should only be follows on this source. Follows equals 1. All right, somebody follow the stream. That should appear on the top right corner, and that should only appear there. Oh, there it is. Good. Office Rummer, thanks. Okay, now we'll do that the same thing for subscriptions. And we'll figure that out. What's your routine when you aren't streaming? I wake up at a very comfortable hustle grind set time of about 11 or 12 p.m. 11 a.m. or 12 p.m. And then usually the first thing I do is I walk a lot. I walk like an hour to work. And lately I've been walking in the Texas heat, and it's killing me, man. Actually, if you see the back of my head, like super sunburn. So now I have to be one of those douchebags with a cowboy hat and an EverQuest shirt on. I think people are just going to be really confused about what political affiliation I'm trying to convey. But that's the only way to like, so I've been like walking in the sun, it's like killing me. And after that, I get to work. Usually when I start my day, I like shut off everything, try to shut off like everything and do like 2 or 3 hours of like whatever like the really hardest like problem I have in my company is. And I just like try, if at all possible, I try to like shut down every distraction. I don't take any phone calls or whatever. And then the rest of my day is usually like phone calls or like meetings or like, you know, getting people on the same page and stuff like that. And then that usually goes till like 7 or 8 p.m. and then I play video games. I'm in Dallas, yeah. Has life turned easier or harder this last few years? My life is really easy. I'm super lucky. Okay, let's see. So this is going to be subscriptions, filter events. So this will just be subs. My business is an agency that does marketing and advertising for brands. Yes. Hi, sub to the Patreon. It's really hard to find the older videos. Yeah. It is. I'm currently looking to pay somebody to organize all 300 of those videos into collections. And so that will happen in like the next month or two. I had a person that I wanted to have do it, but they just ghosted me. So actually, if you're interested in doing that, if anybody's interested in doing that for like a couple $100 and you're pretty good at Patreon or something, just toss me an email and I'll hire you. You have to, like, if you can improve my Patreon and like organize it into collections and maybe do some other cool stuff, just like send me a pitch and I'll hire you to do it. I definitely want to make I definitely want people to improve that. Yeah, that's actually like really high value, that whole thing. Okay, add browser source. This will be the subs, so subscriptions, Streamlabs, and then we'll do the Patreon. Can AI not do that? No, I don't think so. Not yet. Not yet. All right, that'll pop up like middle-ish for subs, and then we do the Patreon, and then we're done. All of the like EverQuest successors kind of feel like a meme. Like Pantheon just did its early access thing, but I have no confidence that that game is going to be good. Even though I like really want it to be and I really support the developers, I just think like it's been 10 years since they started the project and they have like 6 zones done. And then for Monsters and Memories, I actually really am hoping that is good. Yeah, it's too early to know, but I'm definitely watching it. I'm definitely watching it. Okay, Patreon. Hi, welcome back. Twitch hasn't died yet as you predicted. I predicted a 20% decline in viewership 3 years ago, and that's exactly what happened. Thanks for your comment. I'm actually Nostradamus. Let's see. So this is subs, bits, follows. Let's see. Bits. Oh no, Patreon. What makes EverQuest better in your eyes than WoW? The simple fact of like, okay, so Asmongold had this like weird video that a lot of people were commenting on that was called Space Marine 2 brings me back to the days that are gone. And I was thinking like, how? Like, there's plenty of like really great AAA games still, like Hogwarts Legacy, like Space Marine 2, like there's like plenty of like really good ones. The real age that is lost in gaming is games that don't do all the work for you and tell you exactly what to do and tell you where to go. So like the reason why EverQuest 1 excites me and that I still play it is because when I get into the game, there's no like expectation and there's no linear way to like really play the game. I can go any direction, do any quest, like do anything, and nothing is really explained for me. Even today, like finding information on how to do quests and stuff on EverQuest is like, even with like the age of like websites and the internet, is so archaic that it's like oftentimes you just have to like go talk to somebody or figure like some real person and go figure out like what they did like 7 years ago to figure something out. So I just like I like not having my hand held, and it feels like with World of Warcraft, especially in this age, with retail being the way that it is, everything holds your hand. And it's not so much of a like mental effort sink, it's just a time sink. This is also why I still play and still love Path of Exile as like my primary game. It's like Path of Exile feels like basically an infinite canvas on which you can paint, and nobody is holding your hand asking you to do something. But also, like, you can't take my opinion on World of Warcraft seriously. Or I should say you shouldn't, because my, the problem with World of Warcraft was, like, I grew up on EverQuest and always loved that game. And when EverQuest came in, like, it was, like, make Warcraft for us. Like, it was, like, so much more of, like, a what we viewed as, like, a simple game. So I never, like, I never could appreciate it on the level of, like, an Asmongold or, like a Towley or any of those people. They're better authorities on it than me. Patreon. So this would just be the Patreon notifications right here. Okay. Are you still planning to go with the Beast production document? Yeah, it's on the list. After the TwitchCon stuff. I've played a lot of Noida. Yeah, I love that game. Thank you. Okay, let me fix one more thing and then we're good to go. Hey, what's up, Slasher? How you doing? You should be a VIP here. Let me fix that. Slasher. Never forget, Slasher was right the entire time that people made fun of him. He just didn't have enough air cover to run the story. Okay, I think we're good. was a lot of tech stuff. It should be fixed. Actually, we're not good because I have to do one more thing. I'm going to copy these notifications over to this, and then we're actually good. This will take like 2 seconds. How do you get VIP on this channel? Industry people. Industry people or personal friends, or both. In that case, both. I'm not a console enjoyer, so I don't have a PS5 or the new Xbox. I kind of wish I did, though, for Space Marine 2. Like, occasionally, you know, those games come along where you're like, oh my god, I wish I had. Get the subscriptions, Patreon, leave follows over here. Like, I wish I had a console. Okay. I still want to spend $799 for a PC that can't edit videos or do other things. Yeah, we're multi-streaming to YouTube and to Twitch right now. Basically, the way, like, you can choose your viewing experience. I generally think that YouTube is the better viewing experience. Also, YouTube doesn't have music, and Twitch typically does have my music. But neither of the VODs have music. So I'll probably be playing some, like, kind of chill music, like lo-fi, as we go through, like, some of the news announcements today and stuff like that. And if you don't want to listen to that kind of stuff, you can just enjoy on YouTube like you are doing. I'll see all the chats all the same. As for schedule and just like general content updates, I am like back to streaming, but I only have time to do Tuesdays and Fridays because I have a full-time job, beyond full-time job. And so I'm doing Tuesdays and Fridays. I'll still be doing the Patreon stream too on Saturdays. That's been going for like the last like 3 years. And other than that, yeah, we're good. Okanini redeemed VIP 1 user for 24 hours. What is that? How did you do that? Are you a wizard? This guy's a fucking genie. How do you do that? I'm a wizard. Okay, I guess. Well, I guess I have to VIP someone. Stop redeeming that. What is that? Wait, stop. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God. I can't fulfill all of those requests. Warning, automated ad break in... Okay, hold on. I need to make that drastically more expensive. I thought 50,000's a lot.
Go straight.
You guys are gonna be... How do I keep track of whoever's doing that? Is there like a thing? You guys are probably not gonna get that channel point redemption reward because I have no way to track this. Hey, thank you, Yorisoft. I'm broke now. 50K is like 100 hours watch time. Oh, the mods can see feeds for redeems. Okay. Would you mind if I react to your content? No, not at all. You can